But the same thing applies anally. If you pull out before you climax anally, you're doing the same thing to the woman. So it's not really that the sperm didn't hit her.
Yeah. But a lot of women want you to pull out before you come in her mouth.
No, according to the Rambam, that it would cause her pain no matter
I wonder
where.
what kind of women he knew.
I don't know.
Because most of them like
Sephardi
pull
women,
out
man.
before you.
I don't know. I
Come
just
in
know.
my mouth.
The Rambam
It's like-
talks about this, and he says, pulling out. It doesn't matter if it's the vagina, the anal, the mouth, or even check this out.
Mm-hmm.
No. It would be those three.
Yeah.
Because that's right. The mouth is considered like the organ. He said like this: as long as you come in, you blow the load inside the woman, right? You're safe. It doesn't matter what hole you're in. There's no problem because we're not talking about wasting seed. This is the common misconception that's out there. This has nothing to do with wasting seed. It has to do with hurting the woman, right? And it doesn't matter which hole it is. Once you go in, you finish in there. So you asked earlier about a hand job. Hand job's not good, right? Can't do a hand job. We're going to get into that in a second. Everything else is covered. So oral, anal, and vaginal sex are absolutely okay according to halacha, right? As long as you finish inside the woman and blow your load in there. It doesn't matter where you blow. It doesn't really matter. It's all good. Are we good on that?
Okay.
Okay, now you want to talk about masturbation.
Yeah, or the hand job.
It
A
all goes
humble
through-
hand job. Like
Masturbation
the
and hand
blowjob
job.
gets so much acclaim and movies are made about it, but the humble hand job is so many a couple are very nicely in a pinch.
Animal House has a hand job scene.
Some of my fondest memories. I remember I was with this girl in the back of my car, and we were getting closer and closer. But before she moved to the digital manipulation of my member, she wanted to say a prayer to Jesus. So I said, okay. I'm kind of ecumenical. I like to learn about different religions. So I said, like, Dear Jesus, I'm here with Luke, and he's so confused, and so troubled, and he's living out of his car, and he's had chronic fatigue syndrome for like 7-8 years, and I want you to heal him, and he's like gotten away from you, and I want you to bless him. And she did that for like 45 seconds, and then she gave me the most amazing hand job.
Okay, now thank you for that. Thank you. That was. What was the point of that?
I just needed to share.
You know that sounds like a tefillin date. You know, because like the guy says, well, you know, let me daven chakras and I'll bang you right afterwards, right? Okay. Now let's talk about masturbation and hand jobs. They go together.
Yes.
What is the
Like
problem?
ham and cheese.
What is the problem with masturbation? Is it wasting seed?
Yeah,
No,
is that the
no,
problem?
not at all. This whole wasting seed thing, I think it's a goyish zach. I don't know where that's coming from. That's not the Torah problem here. Masturbation is strictly from the rabbis. And you said, why do they talk about masturbation? Onan never had anything to do with masturbation, and you're right. But the Torah never said, it never claimed that his thing was, it never made such a claim. They said like this: when you pull out, it's all because of coitus interruptus. When you pull out and blow your wad on some place that's not inside of her, right? The Torah doesn't allow that. So the rabbis made a fence around that. Any time that you blow your wad and it's not inside a woman is also going to be forbidden. Because if you get so accustomed, let's say, doing a hand job where you blow all over her stomach, you may forget that you know, the halacha, because you're all excited, and she might stick her mouth on it and then pull her mouth away from it, right? And then keep continuing with her hands, and you blow all over her stomach. Guess what? You just violated the halacha from the Torah. Because once she has her mouth on you, you can't blow your wad anywhere else but inside of her. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it could easily go from a hand job to a blow job and go back to the hand job. So we say hand jobs are no good. So it similarly could go from a hand job to vaginal, theoretically. Because she like gets all excited and says, oh, stick it in me, right? Right? I've seen that on porn.
Yeah, I have to. It made me angry, like it made me want to throw up.
What?
Going from hand job to blow job to vaginal and to
Oh, really? What is with women?
It's just like, oh, disgusted me. It made me like, they weren't even married to each other. It was just like, and
Right. Okay. So you can go from, what did I say? You can go from oral to vaginal. You can go from vaginal to anal.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't do a hand job along the way.
I'll have to remember that.
Right. And hand jobs are no good. Hand jobs are no good.
But some women do have a gift, but it is rare.
Right. So Jews are not allowed to do hand jobs, but we're okay with the other three.
Why don't rabbis ever speak about this from the pulpit?
I don't know.
The great sin of hand jobs.
But we're way less repressed. Jews say, "Oh, the Jews are repressed." No, we're still less repressed compared to Catholics.
Yeah.
Can you imagine having this conversation with a Catholic priest?
Yeah.
Can you imagine having this conversation with a Catholic priest? Come on now, let's get real. All right, so what are we talking?
I got a quick little story. This Jewish man goes to a confessional and says, "Father, I'm a 76-year-old widower. Haven't been with a woman for 15 years since my wife died, but the other day I met this 21-year-old woman, and over the past 7 days I've made love to her 15 times." Priest says, "Well, go say 10 Hail Marys and 15 Our Fathers." And the man says, "Why should I do that, Father? I'm Jewish." Priest says, "You're Jewish, then why are you telling me?" The man says, "Telling you, I'm telling everybody."
Oh. Okay.
Okay, so let's talk about masturbation.
Okay, so let's talk about masturbation. The problem with masturbation is that it leads to blowing your wad out, not inside of a woman.
On the dusty soil.
So theoretically, you might think that, oh, okay, I just jacked off, right? What's the problem? There's no woman around, so what does that got to do with anything? Well, if I can jack off in my bedroom watching porn, so the next step is I jack off with a live naked woman next to me, right? And then I blow it all over her face.
You should only be so lucky.
I blow it all over her face, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you think, well, nobody does that? I've seen porn where they do that.
Yeah, disgusting. Makes me sick.
Which means you've seen it.
I didn't know what I was watching.
High five.
I didn't know what I was watching. I was like looking for something else.
Yeah, you know what?
Information about the White House.
I was actually shocked how often that comes up in porn today.
Yeah, like all the time. Like,
All the time. The two things.
Too cocky. It's like, it just makes me sick.
I don't know where this comes. I mean, like, but it's always there. Like the guy like jacks off.
Yeah, why
her.
is it like it's like
know.
a mannerism? It's just like it's like a cliche.
I don't get it. But he jacks off and he blows his wad all
It's
over.
totally against the Torah.
And he blows his wad.
Exactly what I think every time I see it.
But why is it against the Torah to jack off and blow your wad all over her face? Why is that no good?
It's disrespectful to her femininity.
No. Because if you do that, next time what's going to happen is what? She's going to suck on it, and then you're going to blow it all over her face, and that goes against the Torah because you're not allowed to pull out. You're not allowed to pull out. So therefore you're not allowed to jack off and shoot it all over her, and for that reason alone, you're not allowed to jack off and masturbate by yourself in the privacy of your own home. Because if you do that, it's like milk and meat.
Yeah.
You know, we have a halacha that you're not allowed to cook milk and meat together in a pot.
Right.
So because of that, you can't even have a cold piece of meat now by itself, and then 6 hours later, a cold piece of cheese. I mean, it's like so far removed. But that's the thing about fences. So I'm not allowed, or you're not allowed to jack off by yourself, because you might end up coming to jack off with
Definitely not with another guy.
with another woman here. Blow your wad all over her, and then next week you're going to have her suck on it, right? And then you're going to blow it, and then you
Makes
Mr.
me
DeRice.
sick. Makes me sick. I'm appalled at that kind of filth that occurs so very often. Nobody's doing more to try to stop it than I am. Anyway, there's this great show on PBS called Carrier. It's like a reality show. They spent 10 episodes on this Carrier. And in one of the early episodes, they were testing new recruits, and they asked them, who's the Secretary of Defense? And this one girl or guy says, Cunnilingus Rice.
Okay.
Like the ignorance out there that we have to dispel. It's like it's a frightening burden sometimes.
Okay, now go back to your website,
Mm-hmm.
and now let's answer up everything. It should be very simple to understand. The story of Yehuda and Tamar explained, right? Give me your next thing.
Can you believe that our holy ancestor Judah had sex with Tamar without even asking her a name? How shocking is that?
I
How
already answered
meaningful
that.
can sex be?